History of the library in St. Michael's, of our branch in St. Michael's. We started in June of 1981, and we were at a storefront on Talbot Street. We were there until 1988 when we first came to this location. We started all volunteers. It was a complete volunteer effort. The librarian who retired from the Talbot County system, the director, it was her desire to have a library in St. Michael's. The bookmobile had stopped here and had the best run of the week with circulation here in St. Michael's, and it was her desire to have a physical building. And that's how we started. It was an all volunteer effort, her efforts, and then other volunteers trained to work the desk, to do all of the library things that were necessary, not just checking books in and out, but even some of the processing of materials, filling requests, all of those kinds of things that are involved in libraries, done by volunteers. I came as the branch manager in 1986, and that really happened because in the beginning there was not county support for the funds and for whatnot for the library here. The town commissioners paid our rent and our utilities and provided all of that for us because the county did not really want us as a building in St. Michael's. They were satisfied with the bookmobile and the efforts and things that the bookmobile did. But when they saw that it was certainly not going away, but it was very popular, it was very well used, it was supported by the community, and so they then included it in the budget and they supported the library. And one of the beginning things they did was pay my salary because I'm a county employee, if you will, and that's how I got here, because they were willing to pay to have a person on staff. We're hoping to have an expansion and a renovation of our space here. So we had an open house and we invited certainly the community, and part of that open house was also a silent auction because we were raising funds to contribute to that expansion and that renovation. A lot of planning went into it, and we had refreshments. It was a very nice event opening on March the 12th, 2020. And then, of course, with everyone else, COVID happened. And we closed for several months. On March 16th is when the library closed for about 5 months. And those silent auction things just sat here and nobody saw them and nobody, was able to contribute to them. So the ones who were there that night of the event, all of them that put bids on things, they were able to get those items, and we were glad to be able to let them have them, for their bid. Now, one of the things for now, we were continuing again for that expansion. We wanted to apply for a grant from the Maryland State Library. That grant required the county to support it, so we did some efforts to get that support and to ask for that support from the county. We had a petition, and we had different ones who wrote letters in support of the library and all of the services and the things we provide to the community, certainly for the children, but even our adult programs and things. And the county did support us. They did provide the letter that we needed to be able to apply for the grant from the state library, and we were able to do that. So we're waiting from that process, but that's the first step to be able to move forward. And with improvements in technology and ways of learning, ways of doing things now, different from 40 years ago, that was what we needed to be able to move forward for that. But we have a speaker coming, Brian Christie, who's an author, has written a book called In the Company of Killers. And so he's going to talk about that a little bit. But he is an investigative journalist with National Geographic, so he has had a very good career with that and done some good things. And then we're going to just have a little celebration about the history, what we hope to improve for the future for the library, and have light refreshments too. But just a small event in honor of that. That's going to be on July 1st at 1 o'clock is when it will start. It'll be 40 years. Our opening date was actually June 26, 1981. But our meeting room is not open until July 1st, so that's why we're having it. The people that use the library and what they want from the library has changed in in these many years. Again, when it started, an all-volunteer operation, most of our volunteers at that time certainly were retired people. They were big readers, but not so much research necessarily, but recreational kinds of reading. In the beginning, we did not have story time or those things that came a couple of years later. So we do a lot of things with children and children's programs and that kind of thing. But I think it's what people want from the library in 40 years has changed.